Nashville hot chicken. Juicy 100% white meat dipped in buttermilk, hand-breaded and seasoned to bring the heat. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner? New Nashville hot is goodness in the making.
In just a couple of weeks, we're going to be turning back the clocks and watching the days get shorter. And for so many people, those shorter days bring a true drop in mood. Charles Miller knows firsthand how real the effects of seasonal change can be. He joins us this morning with Scenic City Neurotherapy. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
So I know we'll talk more on this whole seasonal affective disorder next month when it's really happened. But coincidentally, you wanted to focus anyway on the topic of depression and how that coincides with brain fog, or can be misconstrued to be brain fog. Is that right?
Yeah, one of the things we've started to see, and it's been brought up a lot since COVID has been a thing. There is a study that came out last year in March looking at 81 other studies. It was a meta-analysis of several studies. And what they found is that greater than 50% of people who contracted COVID or had some sort of neuroinflammation that caused this brain fog feeling, or this inability to think or to feel the way they used to. And that is something, when you look at the description of people who have this later in life onset of brain fog versus those that have a diagnosis of depression from a much younger age, the symptomatologies mirror each other. I mean,
what does that mean, brain fog? It's kind of like, you know, when you go to the doctor and they'll ask you in the hospital, what's your pain level? And you think, I don't know, I just hurt. What is brain fog? Brain
fog is a cognition deficit. Can come with like a chronic fatigue. These terms like chronic fatigue there's some stigma surrounding. You know, when patients say that, you can sometimes see some medical providers kind of roll their eyes because of old stigmas that used to exist. But as we've understood it better, it's an actual breakdown of the synapses in the brain secondary to either a viral infection and neuroinflammation or from prolonged periods of heightened stress. And the last several years have produced an excessive level of stress for many people.
So I may have this all wrong, and you know I don't mind being corrected on the air. So the brain sends signals all throughout the body. So if those synapses are not working properly and the signals aren't going out, then the parts of your body that give you the energy, if you will, it's just not reaching it. Is that right?
Yeah, it's not that the energy is not being produced, it's that your ability to utilize it in a functional way is lost.
Okay, so when they come to you and you diagnose it that way, then what you're able to do with your treatments is to kind of reconnect those synapses? Yeah,
the whole concept behind psychoplastigenic therapies like ketamine infusion therapy and transcranial magnetic stimulation is we're not treating depression, we're not treating anxiety, we're not treating the brain fog directly. Those are symptoms. We don't treat symptoms, at least you shouldn't. We work on treating the underlying cause. So what we do stimulates a large-scale reconnection, per se, of the brain, of the way the brain talks to itself and to the body.
Okay.
To where you don't feel good or bad, you feel correctly. You get the correct emotional response to an environment. Tasks that once felt overwhelming, like doing the dishes can be this overwhelming thing for someone who's struggling. But the dishes didn't get harder to do, it's just their ability to do it has diminished, or their motivation to do it has diminished.
Okay, so if you are an average American, you mentioned that we all live with more stress. We all probably are getting out of balance anyway, like rotating your tires almost, right? Yeah. But for some people, as that imbalance gets stronger and stronger and stronger, it just becomes almost paralyzing.
It is. It's definitely how we cope with stress, or how we don't cope with stress, affects the way our brain functions day after day. If the wear and tear on our brain from prolonged heightened stress from today outweighs what our brain can rest and regenerate at night, then you're going to start the next day with a deficit.
So one thing that you've also mentioned every time you're here is that you don't work in a vacuum, and you have people who come to you walk hand in hand with a mental health provider, which you can help them find if they don't have one.
Right. We work with all sorts of providers all over the region. We do a lot of outreach in the community with each group and mental health group. So they understand our piece in the process and realize that we're not a replacement for what's there, we're just the missing piece in mental health.
I have less than a minute, but if it is the brain fog, which is it appears to be like a depression, but it's depression created from a different reason,
Yeah.
for a different reason. Then does that need to work with a mental health provider if it's more of a physical thing?
In that, we need to look at our coping skills, our healthy outlets, make sure what we're doing is mirroring the good mental health we want to have. It doesn't have to just be viral brain fog. It can be, it can be secondary to, poor coping skills, later in life.
I think where you got a lot of people today is going to be on the line of, we don't treat the symptoms, we treat the cause.
Yeah, and
That's big.
That's how people get better.
Here's where you'll find them. ScenicCityNeurotherapy.com is their website. Offices are right there on Shallowford Road. The phone number is 228-0579. If you're ready to have a conversation with him, it comes at no cost to you.
Right.
And he loves to educate people on what it is that he does because he totally believes in it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Feels good to be home.
For a limited time, Ashley is offering 0% interest for 60 months. Plus, your first 3 payments are on us. Get this dining set in time for the holidays for just $41 a month. Shop today and pay nothing till 2024. Only at Ashley.
Every day, you wake up and drive to the factory, construction site, or that office that you call your job.